Hey family, so I did end up coming back on as a part 2 kind of a continuation of the last video called squeezing, and I wanted to go back to the thunder, okay? The thunder last night. So the thunder that I was hearing in the sky was louder than I had ever heard it before, and it was in a very stronger, louder way. It was very, very close, okay? It was very, very close. It's the best way to explain it, and it was very loud. I mean, shook the whole city. You could feel it. It was very loud. It was very crazy, okay? So, in the last video, we talked about perception and how important that is, at this time. Because like Peter, when his perception changed, he began to sink. He had faith, and then his perception changed, and he began to sink. Luckily, of course, Jesus was right there and lifted him up, of course. Okay? But there's an urgency. There's an urgency. There's an urgency in the spirit right now to really pay attention. And in the previous word, we talked about the number 333 and just what the Lord has been speaking to me about this week about it. So we already broke down the Hebrews and the Greeks meaning and Strong's concordance of 333. But when the Lord took me to the word beheld, He brought me back to the sound of the thunder. He brought me back to the feeling and the sound of the thunder. And in that moment when it was very loud and it felt like a loud smack, and it really sounded like war in the sky. I know I said that in my previous video, but that's really what it seemed like was happening, was a war. And so, when he brought me to the word beheld and bringing me back to the thunder, it really was pay attention. Pay attention. So I really feel the Spirit of the Lord making an emphasis on what we are focusing on, because this really is not a time to operate in the way that we used to operate. This is a new thing. We are already here, but there's no room for double-mindedness right now, because right now, just like the threshing floor, the Lord is sifting out the wheat. He's sifting out those who need to, maybe go through a little bit more training, those who are ready to be launched onwards to that their next royal position, those who may need a little bit more refining. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're always going to need refining, but the Lord is really sifting out and structuring and moving and positioning. And last night, it's that emphasis that keeps coming back to me. Pay attention with the loud thunder, and pay attention to Him. Pay attention to Him, His presence. Tarry in His presence. Be still, be calm, but listen to Him. Even if what He's telling you to do might seem so calm and simple, it doesn't seem so grand, but what He told you of where you're going may seem very grand, okay? Just do what He said to do. Just do what He said to do. And continue to praise Him for who He is. Worship, do what you must in His presence. Focus on Him. Pay attention. Why? Because there are appointed times that He has set and predestined for us all in many different ways that will be fulfilled and that will be achieved if we keep our eyes focused on Him. And I'm reminded of that song by I believe her name is Ro. And the lyrics go, I keep my eyes stayed on Him. I will keep my eyes stayed on Him to the very end. Okay? So I believe her name is Ro. So look up that song. But, You know, keep your eyes focused on him. Keep your mind. That's what I mean by your eyes, your gaze, your perception. Keep your observance on him. There's no time for double-mindedness. There's no time for that. There's no time for that. You know who you are. You know who your Father is. There's no more room for double-mindedness right now. Okay? So do what you must to, if you need to consecrate yourself, if you feel like you do need to fast to clear and just really cut off that old you, like for good, and just stand. If you need to do it for 24 hours, 24 hours, that's what I'm hearing, 24 hours. If you need to do it for 24 hours, one day of dry, I'm sorry, not dry, no food, but maybe drink water. Not everybody has the capacity to fast in certain ways yet. Everybody's at different places. But if you need to do that to reset, but prayerfully, then do so. Prayerfully. And, you know, recenter yourself if you need to do that. You know, the enemy will try to use the same tactics over and over and over and over again. But you know that you're aware of them. So just stand firm. Keep your eyes on him and pay attention. And he's saying that with love. He's with you. So pay attention, as far as pay attention on his love. Pay attention on his voice, his presence. Okay? The Lord does not fail. Because the Lord does not fail, you cannot fail. If you stay with him, partner with him, walk with him. So if you must consecrate yourself, if you must eat less, if you must get off of social media and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. You know, the Lord had me get off for a month. And I didn't really realize it, but when I was off of it, I didn't really miss it. and I got a lot done. And because of that, you know, I was able to launch a whole ministry store, you know. And so I announced that in the last video. And of course, you guys will be able to see a link of what the Lord had me working on. But I was able to focus more on what the Lord told me to do instead of being in my head about it. You know, and looking at everybody else's life. You know, we don't have time to look at what everybody else is doing. If he's telling us to do certain things, if you need to, you know, pull a little bit back, you know, from social medias or whatever it is that's keeping your attention, you know, I do that. Do what you need to do. Just you and God, and work on what he told you to work on. I promise you, you will enjoy it, and you will find yourself on the other side after choosing to do that, releasing and giving birth to something brand new, and you're going to really rejoice and be like, wow, like, that's simple. I just got to focus. Me and God. That's it. So I hope this word bless you. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if this word was confirmation to you in any way. Again, this was part 2 of the previous message called Squeezing the Final Stretch. And there's also a 333 on there. So this will be called part 2. Please watch the previous video. This is just an emphasis on the thunder and to pay attention, because the Lord is always there and wants to lead you into your next position with everything taken care of, because he is God and he loves us and he never leaves or forsakes us. Okay? So God bless you. See you in the next video.